Great. So what are all of the pseudo names for my exes going to be? Mikey, little brother.
Oh, that is a good point. And you got to brainstorm. Yeah, because we can't use their real names.
That's going to be hard.
So you could one of them could be dumbass. The other could be jackball. No, I'm kidding.
We're just talking about the 2 ex-fiancés to anyone who's listening. Okay, I'll have to think on that one.
One of them is kind of a dumbass, but I say that in a loving way. And
No.
I think he knows. Are we recording? Okay, this is the same way Joe Rogan rolls in, where like he's already talking and they just start.
Oh, he doesn't have an intro?
No. I mean, he has a little intro music, but then by the time it actually gets to the video, him and the guy are already talking. And I just had this thought. We have a Jamie. He's a Jamie.
Is that Joe Rogan?
That's like his producer that's in the background on the podcast.
Aw, little bro.
Yeah, Jamie, otherwise known as Michael, is here. He's our Jamie. This is freaking awesome. And thanks to Michael, who got us on the right software to be able to do this with video and showed us how to set everything up. If we tried to do it, we'd have been here for like 5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And probably still wouldn't have got it right.
Thanks, Mikey.
Cheers, hon. It's your maiden voyage of your podcast, and you 30th birthday yesterday. So
Turned 30 yesterday.
How's it feel?
1992, baby.
Aged to perfection.
Mm-hmm. It feels great. This is like, I think, the most exciting birthday I've had yet.
And the theme we're kind of going with on this. I don't even know if you want to kind of talk about the theme of the podcast and what your title is going to be.
Yes. So this podcast is going to be named Third Time's Me. I know it's awkward. I think we should put our drinks.
Put it
over
on this
here.
side. I'm left-handed, but I'm gonna have to use my right hand now.
That's funny. I'm using my left hand. But yes, the name of the podcast is Third Time's Me, and so you know the saying, "Third time's a charm." People say like, "Third time's a charm. Third time's the lucky one," and I came up with that name because I've been engaged twice. And so whenever people find out I've been engaged twice, they'll always crack jokes about like, "Oh, third time's gonna be the charm." So
and they think they're being helpful or positive or whatever.
So instead of third time being another man, third time's going to be me. And so it's going to be about like this journey that I've been on over the last couple years, and now turning 30. But the goal of it is to just really empower women. And I want to talk about like things from solo international travel, learning to date yourself, not feeling like societal pressures, especially as a woman, that you need to be in a relationship to be happy and fulfilled. Yeah. And just kind of covering all different topics in that.
But now you're not, I think I know the answer to this, but you're not saying, I never want to be in a relationship again. It's not an anti-relationship thing, obviously.
No.
But you're like, look, I've gone through these experiences over the last 8, 9, 10 years. So maybe it's time for some personal growth and some introspection, that I spend a little time focused on me
and doing what I want to do, and all the energy and time investment that goes into a relationship. Yeah. Especially, which to your point is not bad, but like that energy now I'm really kind of funneling and like focusing on putting that back into like what makes me happy, what makes me fulfilled with myself.
Yeah. And this is applicable to anybody, really.
Oh, yeah.
Male, female, gay, straight. And
yes.
I mean, yeah, anybody could. I mean, Lord knows I'm on my third marriage, which it's great. But I could have, after my second.
There's a trend here in the Zervas family.
After my second marriage, I probably could have said the same thing you're saying right now.
So, yeah, that's what the podcast is going to be about. I'm super excited. I am going to be hosting this as a solo, like single host.
I was just going to ask that, yeah.
But I do plan to have my dad, as a guest once in a while. I've got a few other guests in mind already, some friends, some folks in my network, a lot of really awesome women, but I will be doing a lot of episodes solo. So we'll see how this goes.
And this is just in the beginning. You might not have even thought of this, but like, have you considered like frequency? How many times you want to do it? A month or a week or whatever?
Once a week.
Once a week. That's manageable.
Yeah, I feel originally when I was thinking about frequency, I felt like once a week might be too much of a commitment, but I just feel like at least the podcast that I follow, they post weekly, and that's something to look forward to. It's like we all have our weekly show, our weekly podcast, something. And I feel like showing up once a week and having new content once a week, I think that's important to build up a community.
That makes sense. And even Michael was talking about that. It's like, especially as you start gaining followers, it's like anything else. People look forward to this every week, and they get irritated if they tune in at the assigned date and time, and Kristen hasn't done anything.
Oh yeah.
Now you're probably allowed to take vacations occasionally, but for the most part, you got to keep your schedule.
I'm gonna stay consistent. Yeah. I mean, my favorite podcast and I'm obsessed with, Girls Gotta Eat.
Girls Gotta Eat. Shout out to them.
Every time they drop, I'm actually going to see them in Portland. Did I tell you I got tickets?
I
have VIP tickets.
And is it
in March? I am so fucking stoked.
Are you gonna go with the girlfriends, or you get more than one ticket?
I bought 2 VIP tickets.
Okay.
Well, it's actually funny. So I was trying to just buy GA. I had no intention of buying VIP because you said it's not that big of a.
It's not that big of a club.
I haven't been, but for some reason it was showing that the GA was sold out, which I think I realized later was maybe just to try
to push the VIP.
Maybe, but I'm not sad about it. I'm not sad about it. So I bought 1 VIP, a single ticket, and then it like clicked like 30 seconds later. I was like, well, fuck, like I'm going to go with someone. Like I'm going to bring a friend or someone.
Right.
So I went back, bought a second VIP. So now I have 2. So we'll see.
And it's in March. What date?
I think it's the end of March, like March 30th or 29th or something.
And they're big enough. If they're coming, are they doing a stand-up act, or are they doing like a podcast episode on stage?
So this will be my first live show that I've seen in person. I've seen their recorded shows in the past, but these are live shows where a lot of times they'll live stream them for folks to like later see online, but it's not a podcast episode. It's just their traveling show. Like they're on the road traveling.
Okay. So it's going to be their kind of comedy act, but I'm sure it's not all comedy. It sounds like these girls are pretty introspective, and they come with some serious content.
Oh yeah.
So it's not going to be the same as just watching a stand-up comedian hit punchlines for an hour.
No. And I've been listening there. Some of the places they've gone to recently, they've been doing, like they have dancers, like they were in Dallas, I think Texas was it, and they hired one of like the pro soccer team like dancers to come out, dance on the stage.
They're gonna make a show.
It's a show. It is a fucking party, and I am stoked.
Oh, that brings up another point. I guess we can curse on this, right?
Yes. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
I know we might have to put a disclaimer up. Adult content.
Stop.
Parental discretion advised.
I want to be my just true self, so.
Oh my God.
We're gonna do that, but turned 30 yesterday. Excited. It's been a really fun week. We're in Bend, Oregon right now. I live in Portland. I'm based in Portland, Oregon. And I got in last Thursday, and weekend 1 to kick off the birthday week. Because that's allowed, right? The older you get, the longer your birthday
can have extend. As much birthday time as you want. Once you're an adult, you can do whatever the hell you want, right?
So some of my best girlfriends from Phoenix came up. We spent the whole weekend just relaxing here at my grandparents' cabin. And then they left, went back home, and then you came over on Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, got here real late.
Yeah. So just been kind of a mix of like relaxing, doing a little bit of work. We went hiking today. Last night we went to dinner, had a lovely dinner. Delicious homemade pasta. Some of the other girls, so my other girlfriends are coming over this weekend from Portland, and a couple of them get in tonight. The rest get in tomorrow. And
so I'm not, this is rude. You don't do this on a pod. I'm not actually like checking my phone. I just dawned on me. I should have had a notepad here. So I was just going to use my memo. But like things, and this is obviously like, it's not a test. This is an actual podcast we're doing, but it's the first one. So as we're talking, things are popping into my head. Then I'm like, make a note of this.
Yes.
And one that just popped into my head it's me and Pam. It's actually Ann and Mike's good friend, but we met her. Her name is Jenny, the most beautiful name in the wide world. But her and her daughter, so Jenny had been married like over 20 years, got divorced a couple years ago, and then her daughter's an adult. But they started a podcast. Her daughter like made her do it, or not make her, but encouraged her to, and they called it Date My Mom. So basically what they did is, and they did 10 episodes. They would get together, I think once a week or once every 2 weeks, and they would go over the history of from when she first, after all that time of marriage, obviously she took a break and worked on herself, but from the first time she dipped her toe back in the dating pool, and she just starts telling stories, and every week is kind of a different topic.
Is she posting weekly?
I think it was every 2 weeks or something, but their first season was 10 episodes, and I've listened to almost all of them. And they were like 30, 45 minutes maybe.
So let me comment on the seasons thing. I feel like I'm realizing that's I feel like a newer thing. Not all podcasts do seasons.
No, they like Rogan doesn't do seasons. He
yeah.
just has a running number of how many.
Yeah.
But some do seasons.
Yeah, and when I met with a podcast manager last year, she encouraged me to seriously consider seasons, and I think some of the benefits were, one, you get a break.
Yes.
2, you also build up some anticipation for the next.
Yes.
Yeah. So
all this marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could see. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Should I do seasons? What do we think?
It wouldn't be a bad idea because
How long
at least then you're not going to catch your audience off guard. They know that there's an end to the season, and you might take a short break, so that they can't get too mad about that, can they, Mike?
I mean, I think you can do whatever you want. It's your podcast. How long do we think a season would be?
I mean, 10, 15 episodes is a good season probably.
So
then you could take a short break
like
if you wanted.
2 to 3 months.
Sure.
Yeah. So run for like a quarter basically, and then maybe take like 2 weeks off, and then run for like another.
Possibly, but again, this is something that's going to be, it's evolving right now. Yeah. I mean, you might get 2 or 3 months into it, and find yourself just looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't stop the momentum if it's there.
So yeah, Jenny told it was great. And I don't know if they're going to do season 2, but it was cool. So some things that they mentioned in their podcast and that you might want to think about once you're going to put this out there to the public. It is cool. It is important to be careful about giving too much details about certain things. Like you don't want people to be able to listen to the podcast and figure out where you live, or even figure out what your favorite hangout is.
Well, I already said what city I'm based in, but
stuff
of course.
like that.
And then also as I'm telling stories
about
specific people from my past.
Use pseudonyms and be careful not to, and thank goodness it's software. We're not live streaming, so you can go back and edit stuff out.
Yes.
But you want to make sure you don't give too many details about somebody that knows them could figure out, oh, you're talking about so and so, or even if your favorite place you like to go.
Great. So what are all of the pseudonames for my exes going to be? Mikey, little brother.
Oh, that is a good point. And you got to brainstorm. Yeah, because we can't use their real names.
Hard.
So you could one of them could be dumbass. The other could be jackball. No, I'm kidding.
We're just talking about the 2 ex-fiancés to anyone who's listening. Okay, I'll have to think on that one.
One of them is kind of a dumbass, but I say that in a loving way, and I think he knows he is.
Yeah, no. One ended, much more.
I mean, they both ended, but
no, one was
one
like
of them doesn't. There's no hard feelings anymore on one. Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Yeah, the other one there's hard feelings.
Yeah.
So okay.
So yeah. I, especially as you start doing the first few episodes, it probably would be good to have a notepad just to scratch down notes or something, or
as things are coming to mind.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But I mean, to go back to the theme of 30, I guess I kind of just wanted to cover, I think a lot of people, there's this like fear of turning 30 because you're leaving your 20s and you're feeling like you're, I guess, in another chapter, even more adulting than you were in your 20s. And so it's kind of this fear of like,
I mean, you're supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your 20s, I feel like there's this thing that like we feel like we can kind of get away with some shit when our 20s that you can't you get a pass and you can't justify certain behaviors or certain mannerisms or whatever it may be in your 20s, but once you hit 30 it's kind of like you need to have your shit together.
Right.
Yeah. So but I'm super stoked because I feel more confident in myself now than I ever have before, and I feel like as you get older, you just know what's most important in life, and you figure out like who you want in your life, what's worth your time, the kind of quality of friendships, relationships you want, and you don't spend as much time caring what other people think, and you're just really invested in the things that matter. Right. Yeah. So that's fun because the older you get, the more you realize how short life is. So
it is, and it's the whole evolution of a person, growing up. You are at 30, you're completely different than you are at 21. A lot of that has to do with life experience, environment, but also a lot of it has to do with just brain development. Human beings, even in their early 20s, their brains aren't fully developed. They have all this passion and energy, but they don't have life experience and wisdom to kind of balance it out. And you start, I like to say, becoming more reasonable as you get older. I mean, I'm even way more now as I'm almost 50 than I was at 35 even, you know. But I was a dumbass when I was 35.
No comment.
I know, it's true. And there's a lot of people that'll back me up on that.
Sure, your wife would agree.
Yeah, Pam knows I'm a dumbass. That's fine. And your mom, Michael's
father
mom, knows that I'm a dumbass too.
My father was a late bloomer, everyone.
I think I'm not. Have I even bloomed yet? I'm not even sure if I've bloomed yet.
You are blossoming, Dad. You
I'm
are
a peacock.
blossoming.
You got to let me fly. So, okay, back to more of how you want to structure this then. Do you want to would each episode have a specific topic, or is there a story you almost want to tell about Third Time's Me? Or do you want to pick a specific topic every time?
Good question. So I think as I've been brainstorming this, I have been just taking notes on my iPhone of different episode topics to kind of keep those in mind. But I almost wonder if maybe it makes more sense to kind of spend handful of episodes, however many it takes to tell my story. But then the other part of me, and then lead into topics. And the other part of me is maybe I can kind of mix in little bits and parts of my story through these different topics. I don't know. What do you think?
I kind of like the first idea where maybe spend the first few episodes talking about your story so that then people can kind of learn and
have the timeline.
They can realize how you got where you are today. And then they'll understand, oh, this is where she's at in her life.
Yeah. And that might, by no means am I a professional and, knowing all there is to know about relationships or a relationship expert or anything like that. But I feel like that gives some credibility to hey, I have been through some things. Yeah. So I do have a little bit of credibility to sit here and have a conversation and share my thoughts with people.
Oh my God.
So I like that.
I just had an inspiration. I don't know if she would do it, but wouldn't it be interesting to ask Lindy if she'd be a guest on it?
Lindsay?
You might have to pay her, but even if it was just an hour's time.
So Lindsay is my therapist.
And mine.
Yes. So my dad's been seeing Lindsay for
5 years. 5 years, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And then when I moved to Portland this past fall, I was having a hard time finding a therapist I was connecting with, and my dad had mentioned that he loved his, and so I got on a call actually with her because my dad and I are doing father-daughter therapy sessions. So I had her one-on-one to kind of chat through things before we got together. And just in that consult, first 1 hour session with her, I immediately fell in love with her. Yeah. And was like, hey, please tell me you're accepting new clients.
That would be interesting.
She's my therapist now.
She may. But I don't know what. There might be some professional concerns that she'd have to. Yes. Because if she's on a podcast and then it gets put out there, she would obviously have to screen and see the episode before it was posted.
Yeah, which is fine. Maybe we'll.
But I just think she'd be a good guest if you wanted to.
Absolutely.
Spend an episode on some specific relationship issues that
or just even maybe a topic of therapy, because there's still. I do think.
Yeah, duh. That's what she does. Yeah. That'd be a great topic.
I do think since the pandemic, people are becoming more and more open to therapy and being comfortable with vulnerability and talking about that they're going to therapy, but there's still a lot of folks out there that I think are hesitant and worried about the stigma.
Yeah, that'd be a great topic.
Just be more about that.
Bring her on and tell her and have her talk about the benefits of therapy and how it can help everybody, and it can help. It can apply to a lot of different situations, life struggles that somebody might be going through.
Yes, because I've been to therapy now. She will be my third therapist I've seen. None of which I saw super duper long term, but I kind of saw different therapists in the past for seasons of life, depending on situations I was going through. Yeah. So talking through that. Yeah. So yeah. Well,
so obviously a lot of questions coming up. You're not sure. I mean, and this is going to evolve whether you do want to actually do seasons or do you want to just do it, see how it's going, and whether you just want to keep going year round. Do you think your apartment's going to be a pretty good setup? You'll be able to do them in your apartment?
I was actually thinking about that as we were setting up this setup here. I don't know from a sound quality. I mean, as long as I have my mics, does it matter?
Michael even said it. It's not picking up the TV, so you're not going to have to worry about neighbors' noise. That won't pick that up. The only issue you might have is is probably just a comfortable table that's big enough, but you don't need that much space. And then a couple of comfortable chairs to sit in.
I mean, some of my favorite podcasters, I'm just going back to Girls Gotta Eat because they're the ones that I watch the most, but they actually have at their studio, they sit on a couch and just talk to each other.
So how do they have the mic set up then if they're sitting on a couch?
They do handheld.
Oh, see, you could. I hate to have to hold a mic the whole time.
Yeah.
But you could, I guess. But they're stand-up comedians too, so they're used to holding a mic.
Yeah.
I would guess your living room would be the best place for it. You just have to figure out.
I might even look into maybe a space in Portland that I could rent if there's something affordable. There's a super small little space because I've been wanting to look into maybe a co-working space anyway, so it could double as my
a shared space or exclusively yours, like because it'd be cheaper if it was a shared workspace.
Correct, but if I could find something that was small and worth it, it could double. If I could get a private space that would be my office when I'm not working from home and could serve as my recording studio. Because there's a ton of co-working space in Portland, so I could find someone that has,
That's a good idea.
You can reserve offices.
And then you don't have to worry about rearranging your furniture every time you do the podcast. Yeah. That's a good idea.
And I think it's good to get out of my apartment. So. Yeah,
people that work from home, you, Pam, everybody else, you need to get out of your house.
Yes.
And you work and live there. It gets that can be bad for your mental health.
I mean, even working here for the week, like the views, the mountains, and all that, it's been great.
Yeah.
So
a change of scenery.
Yeah. How much time are we at now?
Oh yeah, that keeps a running time, doesn't it? 22 minutes. Okay. So yeah,
wow.
How long do you want to roll? It's just the opening episode, but if you got more stuff you want to yell at me about.
This is my podcast.
Did you get so your friends Rachel and Lauren are actually coming tonight, but they're not going to be here till like 9 o'clock or something?
Yes, correct. Okay. Yes.
So we're kind of anticipating that. I'm still supposed to make dinner later, and then I'm going to make you do karaoke in a little bit. You made me pack this equipment over here. We're doing it.
So fun fact about me, I've never publicly done karaoke.
Didn't
I've only done karaoke, not publicly, Dad.
Oh, at her house.
Yes.
Right.
I've done it in in a friend's apartment for funsies. And I was horrible because I thought that Shania Twain would be a good song to pick for my first karaoke song. And
was it Man, I Feel Like a Woman?
Holy Pipes. Yes.
Of course it was.
And I can't sing for anything.
Well, you can. You just have never learned how. Everybody can sing. You just have to learn how to use your voice, your air. And
those pitches.
I know that you can't. You got to learn how to drop it down some octaves and not try to hit those high notes.
Well, you had a good recommendation of like, let's have your next song you try be a male vocal song, so that it's just naturally lower. Yeah,
it's a lot easier for women to hit those notes.
Yeah,
I mean, unless it's like somebody like God, who's one of the singers that can do a lot of high stuff. The guy from Coldplay can do a lot of high stuff. So this will be your second time karaoke. It's technically not still public, but you are going to try it again. And
maybe we'll see.
You're doing it.
He's like, I brought all this equipment. You are doing it.
Yeah, I wish.
I didn't.
I don't want you to turn the camera, but I almost wish we could show all the crap I had to haul over here.
I didn't tell you had to bring all of this.
You said you wanted karaoke for your birthday. So I had to do it. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it big.
Okay, Faja.
Sorry, we're getting away from the theme of the podcast. Now we're just fighting.
This is why I'm going to be a single host.
Come on, the banter is good.
I'm kidding. But I guess, I don't know. I feel like there's been so much focus on my birthday this week. I feel like I'm talking too much about it, but I just am excited for the 30s in general. I think it's a good place to be in. It just seems... I don't know. I feel like things are more clear. I feel like I know myself a little bit better, and I'm still like discovering like things about me, but I just feel this like sense of clarity, and also being single. This is going to be, so I've been single now, like officially since my last serious longer term relationship, about 1.5 years. And now like entering into a new chapter and having like no one else to like, accommodate, if you will, or account for. Yeah. It's nice to kind of have this selfish phase of life.
I don't even think you have to call it selfish. It's me time, and God knows you've earned it. I mean, everybody should take some me time. Well, and another twist on that is, you got to take care of yourself before you can even be in a healthy relationship. Mm-hmm. You got to love yourself before you can love somebody else.
But I mean, this is a perfect example. I've wanted to do some kind of content creation for a
years.
Long time. Yeah. I remember when I lived in Arizona, like, I don't know, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was toying around with starting a YouTube channel. That was kind of my obsession for a while. I even have a ring light somewhere stored in my closet.
A ring? I don't know what a ring light is.
It's it's shaped like a ring. It's a
Right.
light. It's to like you just put it up as a stand to provide like quality light. So when you're doing your videos,
Oh,
it's all,
I see. It's just a
yeah,
good
just
lighting source so that it's not hard
everything
to see
looks
you.
like smooth and clear and fresh.
Okay.
But that just didn't stick. I just toyed around with different things. Like before the YouTube, I used to, I don't know if you knew this. Did you know that I wrote for a women's journal blog when I was in college, like on the side?
That sounds vaguely
It's called
familiar.
Her Campus Magazine. I did a little bit of like journalism.
Now that you mention
article
it,
writing.
I think you did tell me
Yeah.
that.
So at one point thought like, oh, maybe the blog is the route to go. And then YouTube channel I was obsessed with for a while. And then during COVID, I kind of got back into wanting to do a YouTube channel to talk about some other topics. And then my friend and I launched, we never went live with it, but we got all the kind of work done and the equipment to start our podcast and a dual hosted podcast in Austin. But I mean, we both live in separate states now,
she moved to Southern Cal
and I kind of realized I wanted this to be like a brand new opportunity for myself, and just think it's a journey I need to kind of go on alone.
And like you said, it's the 30s are a new chapter, and so it's actually kind of exciting.
Yeah,
you're in a different place, turn a page, new chapter, new location. Yeah, start a podcast. It's actually a good time to start a podcast.
Yeah. So here we go.
All right. Cheers, hon. And happy 30th once again. And once again, thank you, Michael. You made all this happen, buddy.